All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going to be talking about Black Audacity.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that.
You like that?
I like that.
Okay, good.
Sounds like a good one.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
We're looking at a YouTube video recording of a business briefing. A bunch of Black entrepreneurs just kind of brainstorming and sharing ideas, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's called, and get this, Black Audacity, the William Randolph business briefing on Black empowerment.
Okay.
And the channel is Get On Code, Our Black Empowerment.
Catchy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, but
It gets the point across, that's for sure.
definitely gets the point across. So what are we trying to do here?
Well, I think we need to figure out exactly what they mean by Black Audacity in this context.
Right, like what is it?
And then, most importantly, what are the actual strategies, the practical things that, these entrepreneurs are suggesting?
Like, how do we actually do this?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's jump in. How did they define Black Audacity?
So right away, they acknowledge that just being a Black business owner in America, that in itself is audacious.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about it.
Right.
All the obstacles.
All the obstacles. And they use words like, daring and bold, which you would expect, but also awareness. Unmitigated, even brazen came up.
Yates brazen.
And one phrase really stuck with me. Arrogant disregard for the norm. It's recognizing the systemic barriers.
That are definitely there.
That are definitely there. Yeah, the statistics that say you're not going to make it, and just saying, I'm going for it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
I love that. That's a good one. Yeah, and it's not just about ignoring the risks.
No.
It's about understanding them and still going for it anyway.
And knowing that they're there. Yeah.
So where does the historical context fit in?
Yeah, so William Randolph, he was the moderator in this thing.
Right.
He talks about this. He calls it a systematic design strategy to take the audacity away from our people.
Like built into the system, you mean?
Yeah, like built in.
Wow.
And he gives these really specific examples, like laws that prevented Black people from working on huge projects.
Like what?
Like the Panama Canal or the Hoover Dam.
Oh.
Big stuff.
Oh, wow.
Or even, he says, Oklahoma, for Oklahoma to become a state.
Okay.
One of the requirements was that Black people had to be stripped of their ownership rights.
Like to even become a state.
To become a state.
Girl,
So it makes you think
it's
heavy stuff. It's like audacity extraction was baked into the system from the beginning.
It really does feel like that sometimes. But okay, knowing that, what do we do about it?
Right. So that's the question, right?
What are these entrepreneurs suggesting? How do we actually foster this Black Audacity?
Well, they get very practical, and I think it's really useful.
Okay.
One of the key strategies that kept coming up was education and information.
Okay.
And this isn't just about being inspired.
Right.
It's about actual blueprints, giving people the tools.
Like the WTO, the steps.
Yeah, like if you were going to build a house, you wouldn't just be like, I want to build a house.
I feel
They need plans,
Yeah.
right? You need to know the steps, the materials. It's the same with a business, with any big goal, really.
So it's about empowering people with the knowledge
Absolutely.
to actually make things happen.
That's it. And then they also talk a lot about the importance of demonstration and role models.
Oh, like seeing is believing, right?
Yeah, like seeing someone who looks like you succeeding,
It makes it real.
it makes it real. It breaks down those mental barriers like, hey, if they can do it.
I can do it too.
Exactly.
I like that. Now, there was also this idea of purposeful inclusion.
Oh, yeah, that was really interesting.
Can you talk about that a little more?
It's about being strategic about where you go, where you put yourself. One of the guys in the video talks about how he makes a point of going to events, networking with people who are totally different from him.
So getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, challenging assumptions and creating opportunities where they might not have existed before.
Like being a disruptor.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
In a good way.
And, that actually sparked a whole debate in the video
Oh, yeah.
about the ultimate goal.
Okay.
Is it integration? Or is it something else?
I'm listening.
Some of the entrepreneurs were arguing that, integration can actually lead to the erosion of Black-owned businesses.
Ah, I see.
Black institutions, like they pointed to the example of Black Wall Street,
Right.
which thrived until, in a sense, it was integrated and
Right.
then destroyed.
Yeah, that's a heavy thought.
Right. Like, does striving for inclusion in existing structures, does that actually undermine the power of Black-owned spaces?
That's the question.
It is the question. But then on the other hand, some of the entrepreneurs were arguing that no, purposeful inclusion allows for strategic engagement.
Okay.
collaboration,
Right.
which can lead to economic empowerment on a larger scale.
So it's a balancing act, it sounds like.
It really is.
Like, how do we both preserve our own communities?
Break down those barriers.
Exactly.
In the wider world.
It's like, how do you have your watermelon A and D eat it too?
Uh-huh. That's where the watermelon versus grape analogy comes in.
You've been studying up.
I have. So tell me about that, because that's where we're going to pick it up next time.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, great.
Okay, so the watermelon versus grape analogy, it's all about partnerships, right?
Partnerships. Right.
They were talking about this guy, Rich Dennis, former CEO of Sundial.
Yeah, the hair products.
Yep, Sundial Hair Products.
Yeah.
He sold controlling interest in his company to Unilever.
That was controversial.
It was. A lot of people felt like he was, selling out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They were saying he used that money to acquire Essence magazine.
Oh, wow.
Expanded his impact in a way he couldn't have done on his own.
So it's not always about owning 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes a smaller piece of something much bigger
Is actually more valuable.
Exactly. It's about strategic thinking leverage.
Like you're giving up a slice, but you're getting a whole new pie.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so we've talked about partnerships, getting outside your comfort zone, building those networks.
Yeah.
But they also talked about unlearning limiting beliefs, right?
Oh, absolutely. That was a big one.
Like what kind of beliefs?
Well, they talked about mindsets around ownership scaling, delegating tasks.
Stuff that can hold you back.
Absolutely. It's like you're carrying around this overstuffed suitcase, right?
Okay, I'm following.
And to really move forward, you got to unpack it.
You got to get rid of some of that baggage.
Some of that old baggage that's holding you down.
That's a good analogy.
Right.
So like what specifically, what beliefs do we need to unpack?
Well, they highlighted a bunch of areas, but I think a good place to start is with ourselves, like right now.
Okay.
What beliefs, about yourself, about your abilities.
Or even about the world.
Or even about the world.
Yeah.
What's holding you back?
Yeah.
Think about it for a minute.
That's a good question.
It is. It is.
All right, I'm ready.
Let's get into some of the specific beliefs they talked about, all right?
Okay, I'm ready to unpack some more.
Okay, so you ready to unpack some more of those limiting beliefs?
I am. Give me the goods.
Well, they talked about this. It's about giving up control.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is, right?
Yeah.
They were saying that a lot of Black entrepreneurs, they struggle with delegating, bringing on partners, even when it's clear that they need to.
It's hard to let go, though.
It is hard, especially when you built something from scratch.
Yeah, you pour your heart and soul into it.
You don't want to see it messed up.
Right.
But they were making this point that this I got to do it all myself mindset,
Yeah.
it actually limits you.
Because you can't do everything.
You can't be an expert in everything.
And you shouldn't have to be.
Exactly. Recognizing your strengths and weaknesses.
That's key.
It's key to building a strong team.
So be honest with yourself, right?
Yeah. Where do you shine? And where do you need help?
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Don't be afraid to bring in the experts.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, they also talked about systems and documentation.
Oh, that was a big one.
That sounds kind of boring.
It might sound boring, but trust me.
Okay.
It's so important, especially when you're talking about scaling.
Okay, so like, what do they mean by that?
Think of it like creating a roadmap for your business.
A roadmap, okay.
Anyone can follow it, even if you're not there to hold their hand every step of the way.
So even if you're not there to micromanage.
Exactly. You're freeing yourself up to focus on the big picture.
Okay, I'm starting to see the value in that.
Right. And it helps with that fear of scaling.
Which we talked about earlier, like hitting that ceiling and being afraid to break through.
Yeah. Why do we do that?
I don't know.
It's a lot of things, right?
I guess so.
Some of it is historical.
Like we've seen businesses fail.
We've experienced hardship.
It makes you cautious.
Makes you want to hold on tight to what you've got.
Play it safe.
But they were saying that playing it safe
can actually be riskier.
In the long run, yeah. You miss out on those opportunities.
To grow.
To grow, to innovate.
So it's about shifting that mindset.
From scarcity to abundance.
Right. But how do you do that?
Well, they talked about redefining what success means.
I like that.
It's not just about the money.
There's more to it than that.
It's about creating something sustainable, something impactful, something that can grow and evolve.
You mean like not just a mom and pop shop?
Well, they actually talked about that specifically.
Really?
They said we got to move beyond the mom and pop mentality.
So not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, not at all. They're vital to our communities.
But
they were saying those businesses, they don't always have the infrastructure.
To really scale.
To create that lasting wealth.
So think bigger.
Think bigger. Envision businesses that can compete on a national, even global level.
So not just serving a local market.
Exactly. It's about having that ambition, that vision.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. And it's about innovation.
That's key, too.
They gave this really great example of a guy in the video. He owns a cleaning business.
A cleaning business, okay.
And he's trying to reinvent it.
How so?
He's trying to push beyond those traditional limitations.
So he's not just content with, like, doing the same old thing.
He wants to create something that can grow, that can be replicated.
He wants to revolutionize the cleaning industry.
That's the spirit. It's about challenging those assumptions, breaking down barriers, and creating new paradigms.
And it all comes back to Black Audacity.
Exactly. It's about that boldness, that willingness to step outside of your comfort zone.
And speaking of comfort
I
zones,
talked a lot about that.
it seems like that's a recurring theme.
It is. Embracing discomfort as a catalyst for growth.
So how do we actually do that?
They gave some really practical tips.
Okay, I'm listening.
First, identify those areas where you feel stuck.
Where you're hesitant, afraid.
Yeah, where the fear is.
Okay, and then
Start small. You don't have to conquer the world in a day.
baby steps.
Baby steps. And surround yourself with support.
People who will encourage you, but also challenge you.
That's it. Like a cheerleading squad,
Yeah.
a coach.
I love that. You need both.
And then they talked about reframing your perspective.
On discomfort.
Yeah, instead of seeing it as a bad thing,
Think of it as an opportunity.
an opportunity for growth. Like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right. But let's focus on the stronger part.
Exactly. They also talked about starting small, but being bold.
You mean like you don't have to have it all figured out from the start.
Right. Start with a small idea, a side hustle.
And then build from there.
Build, grow, evolve. And they said, don't let your circumstances define you.
Because we all have limitations.
We do, but they don't have to limit your potential.
So use what you have to start building what you want.
Be resourceful. Be creative. And be bold in your vision.
Don't be afraid to dream big.
Don't be afraid to set those ambitious goals.
And believe in yourself.
That's the most important thing. They talked about unlearning those limiting beliefs.
Which we've talked about before.
We have. But it's worth repeating. Your beliefs shape your reality. If you want to create a different reality.
You got to change those beliefs.
Exactly. Question your assumptions. Experiment. Be open to new ways of thinking.
Be willing to learn and grow.
Absolutely. And they also talked about systems, which we touched on earlier.
Yeah, the roadmap idea.
It's so important for scaling, for delegating, for building something sustainable.
It's like creating a user manual for your business.
Exactly. So anyone can understand how it works.
And it sets you up for the future.
If you want to sell your business, bring on investors.
It shows that you're thinking long term.
It's about building a legacy.
I like that.
And then, they said, be revolutionary.
Challenge the status quo.
Yes. Don't be afraid to disrupt the game.
This is where it gets really exciting.
It is. They were saying, think differently, innovate, create solutions that address the needs of your community.
Be an agent of change.
That's it. And finally, they said, evaluate your progress.
And keep evolving.
Always be growing, be learning.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. And they said, celebrate those wins along the way.
Because it's easy to get caught up in the hustle.
You forget to appreciate how far you've come.
So take a moment.
Acknowledge those milestones, big and small.
You deserve it. So I think that wraps up our Black Audacity to-do list.
It's a powerful set of principles.
It really is. But as we've been saying, it's not a one-size-fits-all.
You gotta find what works for you.
Adapt it to your own journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They said, be self-aware, know your strengths, your values, your goals,
And then build from there.
and be patient with yourself.
It takes time.
It does. Building anything worthwhile takes time, effort, perseverance.
There will be bumps in the road.
Absolutely. But that's all part of the journey.
Embrace the journey.
Celebrate the victories. Learn from the setbacks.
And never give up on your dreams.
Never give up. I think this deep dive has really captured the heart of Black Audacity.
It's not just about individual success.
It's about creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
It's about breaking down those barriers.
Challenging the status quo, building a more just and equitable future.
For all of us.
For all of us, exactly. And it starts with each of us taking action.
Embracing our own audacity.
Using our gifts to make a difference in the world.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final question.
I like it.
What would it look like for you to embrace Black Audacity?
Think about it. What area of your life do you want to transform?
And how can you apply these principles to make that happen?
Let that question guide you. Let it spark your imagination.
And most importantly, let it inspire you to take action.
Because the world needs your unique voice, your vision, and your audacity.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep diving deep.